Hi guys, back with another figure review. Again, something a bit different today. We're going to be taking a look at Beast Kingdom's new Sauron figure from Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. I kind of forgot this was coming out, and it just released recently, I do believe. I got mine off eBay. But yeah, I'm not really familiar with Beast Kingdom. I've seen some of the stuff that they've had on offer before. Some of their figures seem kind of Mezco-like because some of their figures utilize a decent amount of soft goods. A while back, probably a couple of years ago now, I had their Merciless figure, that evil Batman that turned into Ares. They had that, and I had that on pre-order. I ended up canceling it because I was happy enough with the McFarlane figure. But yeah, it's a company I've never really bought figures from before. But I saw this picture of this on Instagram, and then I decided to track down and see if I could get one, and I was able to. And because I think this might be the best articulated Sauron figure you can currently get out there on the market. There hasn't been an absolute ton of figures made. There's been a few. There's I have the old Toy Biz figure I'll do a comparison with. There was the Diamond Select Build-A-Figure, which I think those figures from that wave actually just got recently re-released. There's a 5-inch figure from Best Action. There's probably some others I'm not sure of, but those are kind of like the main ones I would say. But yeah, I actually want to take a look at this figure in the packaging first, because the packaging's simple but pretty cool. It's got this really nice sort of window, and then you've got this nice pattern that is printed all along the box in this glossy black, sorry. And then on the front, you got this nice printed in gold Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, Sauron. And I love how the O in his name is the one ring. And you've got DAH-096 as the number, the Lord of the Rings, Dark Lord. On the side there, you've got an image of the side of the figure. This is a 1/9 scale figure, I guess. We'll see how it scales with some other size figures. You got on the back some images of the figure. It runs down what comes with it, how many points of articulation it has. Same kind of image on the side there. But that is pretty much it. It is a cool box, but yeah, we're going to take it out of the box and see how it stacks up. All right, here's Sauron out of the box, and it's a really cool figure. Like I said, I don't have the Select, but do have the old Toy Biz. I think those are the main ones you'd compare this with. But I gotta say, I've seen pictures of the not Toy Biz, the Build-A-Figure from Diamond Select. That one's pretty cool, but I think this one is definitely the better looking one. And actually, kind of funny enough, the Build-A-Figure is actually probably going to run you more money than this figure is going to run you. This figure's not cheap by any means, but the Build-A-Figure is also not cheap. Honestly, even the Toy Biz kind of isn't cheap either anymore, but it's still more affordable than this one. But yeah, I really like the silhouette here. I think the proportions are really good on this, and I like some of the design choices. I think it has the best looking robe cloak that they've had on a Sauron figure so far, in my opinion. But yeah, let's take a closer look. So I guess getting up close in the details, not a ton of different colors, but he's got this metallic silver, and then you've got a ton of like black wash just all throughout the armor to give it a really nice dark worn kind of look. Makes him look really evil and cool. I love these colors. The Toy Biz figure is no slouch, but yeah, I just think the weathering, the wash or whatever you want to call it, I think looks a lot better on this one. And I really like the head sculpt on this one. The Toy Biz one, I always feel like the head is just too long, too tall. I feel like the scale on this one's much better. Or at the very least, I subjectively prefer it in this size. Yeah, that looks so awesome. If I say some things wrong lore-wise, you'll have to forgive me. I'm a pretty casual Lord of the Rings fan, to be honest. But my knowledge only goes so far as the movies. But I absolutely love Sauron as a character and his design, which is why I wanted to get this and why I had the Toy Biz figure before. But yeah, it's pretty cool. The horns, or whatever you want to call them, spikes on the helmet, they are soft plastic. They weren't really too warped out of the package. This one is bent, curved in just a little bit. I might try to see if I can heat that up and just straighten it out, but otherwise it's pretty good. And then the torso there looks really nice. The shoulder armor looks really nice as well. I really like that. The spikes, you can see that little warp there. I'll have to go with some heat and hot water or something and see if I can straighten those out. But aside from that, it's pretty good, and probably would prefer these to be soft plastic anyways, so they won't snap and break. So that is nice. And then one thing you will obviously notice is he does have a large soft goods robe or cloak or whatever you want to call it. It has a couple different layers. There might even be 3 layers. Yeah, there's 3 layers to it. Each layer actually has a wire. So the cloak is wire. You can have it kind of flared out. You can have it, you know, blowing in the wind. I'm not going to mess with it too much right now, but you can kind of have it kind of flowing out and whatnot. But what I really like about this cloak is that I think it's the most accurate one we've gotten so far. I can't recall on the Build-A-Figure, but on the Toy Biz one I have off to the side, he just has a cape that's kind of over his shoulders, draped behind him. But I'm pretty sure this is more correct, having the robe actually kind of go over his shoulders and almost wearing it like a coat, or goes underneath the shoulder pads and almost covers his whole body. And I think this looks really, really cool and kind of looks more sorcerer-like, if you know what I mean, which I think is super, super cool. It does have some like jagged cuts to make it look kind of torn on the edges. These are like pretty straight where they don't look super natural. I will say that. It looks like someone just took like scissors and kind of cut them out. It's not the worst looking thing ever, but it is what it is. Not super tattered looking or anything either. I do kind of like that, honestly. Whether it's accurate or not, I'm not sure. The Toy Biz one had a much rougher looking cape. This one's much smoother and cleaner looking. It might just be down to personal preference. I do like this one a lot though. I think it looks really nice. But the rest of the armor looks really good, and I like around the elbows, these armor pieces are soft plastics. They won't get in the way of articulation, and all the spikes that are on his arm, still pretty sharp, but they are softer plastic, so they shouldn't snap on you, or at least not easily. The gauntlets look really nice, and on each of the right hands he has, they did sculpt the one ring, but one little issue I do have. So they didn't paint the ring green. They didn't paint the ring gold. It's just kind of black, the black plastic with some of the silver weathering on it. But the ring should be gold, obviously. That's how it looks in the movie and whatnot. So I don't know why they didn't paint this gold. It's not like a major issue. Well, it is kind of a major issue, honestly. It's an easy fix, but I shouldn't have to fix it, I think is the best way to put it. This just should be gold. It'd be easy. It's a little bit of paint, and they didn't use many other paints on this figure. I don't know why they didn't paint the ring gold. So because it's not gold, it does kind of get lost in the sculpt and the colors that are already there. Like, it's not really, like, you can see it when you look, but it's not super noticeable, which I feel like it should be. It's the one ring, you know? It's his whole shtick. He's the Lord of the Ring, you know what I'm saying? So he should have that. But the rest of the armor looks real nice. He's got the side pieces, and you got like the chainmail bits sculpted, which look pretty nice. This is all lower bit is a bit of soft plastic. It's not like super, super gummy plastic, but it will move out of the way, at least a bit. And then you've got the leg armor that looks really nice as well with the spikes on the front. He's got like the spur spikes. And then the layered armor on the feet looks really cool as well. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a really great looking Sauron. I think proportionally and like paint wise and sculpt wise, paint wise except for the ring, and sculpt wise, I think it is the best looking articulated Sauron anyways, not counting like statues and all that jazz. In terms of articulation, he's pretty well articulated. He has don't think it's a dumbbell joint in the neck. He actually looks up quite a bit, looks down at a decent amount. It's limited a bit because of the design of the helmet. Pivots a lot and rotates. The shoulder pads are actually on ball joints. One was actually popped off in the packaging, but they're easy to pop back on. You can get his arms pretty much going out full 90, which is good. There's a bit of a butterfly. It might just because it's a double ball joint kind of socket again, but you can get him doing a bit of shifting forward and back, which is cool. There's a swivel cut at the bicep, which is actually really nicely hidden underneath the armor, which is super cool. He has a double hinge at the elbow, which isn't too distracting looking, which is nice. And it bends super, super far, which is very nice as well. I will say the joint, it's not like super loose where it'll flop around if I'm moving it. It's not that loose, but it's just maybe just slightly more easier to move than maybe I'd like it to be, but it's not too bad. Then on the wrist, you have rotation and you have hinges up and down. I imagine, yeah, you can move. They're like Mezco joints. You can move the joints. So if you want them going in and out, you can do that. There is a torso cut that's, again, pretty nicely hidden by the armor. There's actually not a whole lot of rotation. I don't want to force it, but it doesn't rotate a whole lot, but it does pivot quite a bit. As you can see, a little bit of crunch forward, a fair amount back. So that's kind of nice. Hip joints, you can get the legs kicked out about that far. It is a bit hindered because of the armor bits going on, but it's not too bad. Goes back a bit. There's a rotation at the thigh, again, nicely hidden by the armor. A double hinge in the knees, which is a bit tighter than the elbows. This is about how I would like them to be, as tight as I'd want them to be. And those bend real pretty nice. And the the knee armor hides the joint decently well, although when you bend it, it does get a little uglier looking, but it's not too bad. And then there is rotation at the ankle. There is ankle pivot, which actually pivots pretty nicely. I was wondering how good that would be. And then there is a toe bend as well that goes almost a full 90. Again, that kind of looks a little ugly when you bend it, but it is there. So pretty good articulation. I do find, again, the hip joints maybe a little more give there than I maybe would like them to be a little tighter, but it's not too bad. It's better the way it feels now than being way too tight, I suppose. But get them all situated out here. In terms of accessories, I will say a little bit of a weak point, I guess. He doesn't come with much stuff, but at the same time, he's in the movie for like, what, a minute or 2 minutes in this form anyways. And I don't really know what else he really could have came with. So you've got the 2 gripping hands on him. You also have a pair of these open hands, which are pretty cool. This one, again, has the ring, but it's not painted gold. But it is kind of like, you know, him reaching out to seal deer, you know. So that's cool, but the hands are sculpted and painted nicely. I am curious how easy these are to swap. Oh, these are... Oh, let's see. Oh, these are pretty nice to swap, actually. I'm not going to lie. The peg's decently thick where I don't think it would break easily. And it wasn't too tight to take off, and it feels secure on the wrist. So that's really nice. But yeah, you can kind of have the hand open like that. And then obviously... he's got to have his weapon, his mace, and this looks real nice. I would be a little careful with this. The plastic doesn't have it too much give. It is pretty sturdy plastic, which I do like, but yeah, it's a bit thin, so you just want to be careful. But it's a nice size. I feel like, especially on the Toy Biz one, I feel like the mace is a little too small. This one has that nice size to make it look a bit more menacing. And I assume we just want to slide it in to get it in his hand. Yeah, there we go. Got it in his hand, and that looks pretty cool. The only thing I'll say is that it is a kind of a loose grip. You can kind of see it's kind of flopping around in his hand. Like, it won't fall out because he's got the pommel, wider pommel, so it won't slip out of his hand. And because of the way it's sculpted, it won't slide too far up. So it's not too bad, but I would have liked it maybe had a bit of a more secure grip. You could maybe heat it up with hot water or a heat gun or something and close the fist up a bit, and maybe that would fix that issue. But then if you make it too tight, you can't really get the mace in the hand because they didn't actually make any separation here at the fingers. I don't think. I think it's sculpted together. Oh no, it actually isn't. So I guess yeah, they could have made this grip tighter. Maybe again, that's another thing. Maybe I'll heat up and see if I can make the grip a little tighter, but it doesn't really matter too much. It'll stay in his hand. So let's maybe give him a pose real quick before I do comparison. Show you what you can do. See if we can get the cape looking kind of cool. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That looks really, really cool. I am really liking how this looks. I love the design of Sauron, and having this good articulation, the wired cloak, that looks sick. I'm not gonna lie. I'll definitely be fooling around with it, seeing what other poses I can get with it later, but I am gonna straighten them back out because I do want to have them standing tall for the comparisons. Let's straighten old Sauron out. Get that fixed up here. There we go. All right, let's do some comparison. So I guess the main comparison would be with the other Sauron I currently own, and it is the Toy Biz Sauron. Let's let me actually put his arm down just so. So you can see there the differences. The Toy Biz one is definitely a smaller figure, and I feel like the new one not only is taller, but just has some better proportions. The legs on this one almost feel like they're a little too short, but these ones seem like they're a nice size. Same kind of with the arms and whatnot. This one had the really tall head, and I like the size of this one's head a lot better. The colors on this one are still pretty cool. I'm impressed. This, I don't know what this originally retailed for, probably like 20 or 30 bucks or something way back when. And I'm impressed that it has a black wash on it, but the paint apps on the new one, this new one here, Beast Kingdom, which rightly so, it's like a $150 figure, but it is a much better paint job. Looks a lot cooler in my opinion. The mace on the new one's way better. Not only is it bigger, but on the Toy Biz, it was a soft plastic and it warped, and I've tried to heat this up and straighten it out, and I've done the best I can, but it still doesn't want to go straight. This one also doesn't really hold as securely as I like either. You can see the difference in the cloaks here. This one is this much more kind of ratty and tattered sort of cloak, and it's more like a cape, and it just uses elastics and hangs over his shoulders, and I don't like this one. Likes to slip down and fall off, well, not fall off, but ride down on his arms, and I can't really get them all the way back up, so it's kind of annoying. But it didn't go around the kind of like how it's supposed to like go around his shoulder and his waist underneath and all that. I do kind of like that weathered look, but I don't know. The edges of this one look a bit more natural, but other than that, I do like the new one. The Beast Kingdom one's look, I think, is just a better look. But that one's a bit more of a subjective opinion there. The new one's articulation is much better, although the Toy Biz one's definitely pretty good for how old it is. But one cool feature, or a couple cool features, is with the Toy Biz one, you could okay, they're kind of stuck. I don't want to take them off and break the figure. I've already broken the wrist on this. But you could take the fingers off, like they got sliced off. And also he has an actual one ring accessory that you could actually remove from the fingers there. And it's gold, so you can actually tell he's got the ring on. So that is nice, I won't lie. This one also had light up features and sounds. That's not what he's supposed to sound like. The batteries might be kind of dying on it. Oh, there we go. His eyes would light up. So we'd say a few things and whatnot. So this is still a cool figure, but overall, I definitely think the new one is just so much better, honestly. But you can kind of make the decision for yourself which one you prefer, I suppose. There is a, not a significant price difference as you'd expect, I guess. The Toy Biz one is not super cheap anymore. I got mine a couple of years ago. I think I maybe paid 70 Canadian for it, maybe 80, I think 70. And I looked up recently on eBay, and it's still going for like loose, like 80 to 100 Canadian. And if you get it in the box, I got mine in the box, but if you get in the box, you're potentially spending even more. Easily over 100 bucks for the Toy Biz one, Canadian, of course. So there's that. And the Beast Kingdom one is 150 USD, I think, is his retail price. Around, no, sorry, it's 110 before shipping. I paid 150, but I didn't pay any shipping or tax or anything because I got it off eBay from like Taiwan or something. But it ended up being pretty much close to the same cost I would have paid if I got it from Beast Kingdom US directly. So, because their shipping price was crazy. So yeah, there's the price difference there. And then the Build-A-Figure for Diamond Select, like I said, I don't have, but that one is actually gonna cost you even more, because at least in Canadian dollars, I see average for like 240, 250 Canadian. And I paid, $40 to $50 less for this one. And I think this one looks a lot better, to be honest. But yeah, kind of have to make your own decision on that if you own the Select already. Or if you don't, you'll have to do the research yourself, unfortunately. But yeah, those are the Toy Biz looks. And just for a little bit more sense of scale, I don't have too many other medieval fantasy figures. I don't unfortunately have any other Lord of the Rings figures. But here is a Mythic Legions Templar Knight. You can see Sauron is a lot bigger. This is supposed to be 6 inches. This is probably a good 9 inches tall, maybe even close to 10. So there's that. Maybe not 10, but I think probably around 9. And then here is a 7-inch scale figure. Here is D&D Warduke, which kind of fits. So he is really tall. I actually wasn't sure. I was kind of actually surprised he was taller than the Toy Biz one, so I'm very happy about that. But I think that is pretty much it. Overall, it is a really cool figure. I really like how it looks. I think it's got some of the best proportions out of all of the Sauron figures out there so far. I think it looks the best of all the articulated Sauron figures out there. Articulation's really good. I can't speak. I think it's probably better than the Select's articulation, but I'm not sure. Accessories are fine. You know, would have liked maybe a little more, maybe a few other hand options, maybe. And this guy doesn't come with a display base. I think maybe a diorama display base, maybe of like the rocks and ground of like Mordor or something would have been super cool to include with this figure. But other than that, I can't really think of much. So I can't really take much points off for not many accessories because he's in the movie for like 2 minutes. So yeah, overall, this is a really cool figure. And if you were a fan of the Lord of the Rings and if you were a fan of Sauron, I would highly recommend picking this figure up if you can shell out the money, because I think it's the best one out there and it's super cool. I'm very happy with it. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next one.